we should be back. Just sending out a quick message to say that I'm actually back. Oh, now it's saying I'm offline. Okay, I might have to verify this with my own eyes. Offline. Okay. Nope. Okay. There we go. I'm on. Okay, awesome. And there's the sound. So.
I get the feeling you want to ask me something, Commander.
Maybe we could pick up where we left off. You were telling me about your interest in the Protheans.
Actually, I think I was talking about my interest in you, and making a fool of myself in the process. As I said, I am not used to dealing with people, especially humans. I did not really know much about your species when we first met, Shepard. I found it hard to take humanity seriously. Your kind always seemed so rushed and high-strung.
We don't have the luxury of time, and Asari can live for 1,000 years. We're lucky if we hit 150.
That is true. At first I thought that was a weakness of your species. After spending time with you and your crew, however, I think it may actually be an advantage. You humans are creatures of action. You pursue your goals with an almost indomitable determination. It is an admirable trait, but also an intimidating one.
You're scared of us?
Unfortunately, the rest of the galaxy sees humanity as something of a bully. You run over anyone in your path to get what you want.
We're
It is up to people like you to change their minds, Shepard.
one.
I'm doing the best I can, Liara.
There is a reason the Council chose you to become a Spectre. They saw something special in you. The best of what humanity has to offer.
And
I
that's
looked into
why
your
I'm playing
history.
Paragon.
I know what you did during the Blitz. It was a remarkable display of courage and heroism.
You didn't need to go behind my back. I would have told you whatever you wanted to know.
I apologize, Commander. After our last conversation, I was afraid I would say something stupid again.
You just
I wanted to know
did.
more about you, to understand what made you into the woman you are. There is something compelling about you, Shepard.
Are you sure you're interested in me, or is it my visions of the Protheans?
I admit, your connection to the Protheans had something to do with my initial interest, but it has grown beyond that. You intrigue me, Shepard, but I was not sure if it was appropriate to act on my feelings. I thought there might already be a relationship between you and Lieutenant Alenko.
Is there? I didn't know.
The Lieutenant and I are just friends. Nothing more.
My mistake, then. I am not as adept at understanding human relationships as I thought. But what about us, Shepard? Is there a mutual attraction, or was I wrong about that too?
I'm not interested in you in that way, Liara.
This is very embarrassing for me, Commander. Please, let's talk about something else.
I feel so bad now.
I should go.
Goodbye, Commander.
Oh, that's so brutal. I'm not interested in you that way, Liara. I should go.
Commander, do you have a minute?
Given how frequently she is embarrassed by things she shouldn't be embarrassed by, Sin, she does sort of remind me of you a little bit. Okay, but just so you know, Caden, I don't think of you that way.
I always make time for my officers.
Off the record, I think there's something wrong here. This Saren is trading people to aliens for some kind of lost knowledge, but we can't get backup from the Council? Sorry, Commander. There's writing on the wall here, but someone isn't reading it.
The Council doesn't want to believe anything's wrong. I'd call it human nature, but
I hear you. It just seems like a group that's been around as long as the Council should see this coming. I mean, it's funny, we finally get out here, and the final frontier was already settled, and the residents don't even seem impressed by the view. Or the dangers.
well, you're a romantic. Did you sign on for the dream, Alenko? Secure a man's future in space?
I read a lot of those books when I was a kid, where the hero goes to space to prove himself worthy of a woman he loves, or, you know, for justice. Or maybe I was a romantic in the beginning, but I thought about it after brain camp. Sorry. Biotic acclimation and temperance training. I'm not looking for the dream. I just want to do some good. See what's out here. Sorry if I got too informal. Protocol wasn't a big focus back in Bot.
I don't think of you that way, Caden.
Tell me about it.
Biotic acclimation and temperance didn't last past the airlock. To the kids they hauled in, it was brain camp. Sorry, hauled in is unkind. We were encouraged to commit to an evaluation of our abilities so an understanding of biotics could be compiled. There are worse results of accidental exposure to element 0 in the womb. Beats the brain tumors some kids grew up with.
Is there some question about how you were exposed?
My mother was downwind of a transport crash. It was before there were human biotics, a little after the discovery of the Martian ruins. It only gets iffy around 63 when kinetics was running out of first-gen subjects. Until then, they'd relied on accidentals. A bunch of guys in suits show up at your door after school, and next thing you know, you're out on Jump Zero.
I don't think of you that way, Caden.
Jump Zero is Gagarin Station, right? What's it like?
Yeah, that's the official name. Biggest and farthest facility we had for decades. Right on the termination shock, the outer edge of the solar system. It's where they did all the Goose Chase FTL research before we caught on to using mass effect fields. It was a sterile research platform when I was there.
There were other kids in the same boat, right? At least you weren't alone out there.
That's true. We did have a little circle that'd get together every night before lights out. We didn't have much to do, though. It was a research platform then, and kinetics kept Jump Zero off the extranet to prevent leaks.
I don't think of you this way, Caden.
You were all teenagers. I'm sure you found other ways to occupy the time.
I'm not the sort who does that kind of thing, Commander. Not lightly, anyway. There was a girl I spent a lot of time with, but we kept our clothes on. Rana. She was from Turkey. Her family was very rich. But she was smart and charming as hell. Beautiful, but not stuck up about it. Like you, I guess.
I don't think of you that way, Caden.
Sounds like she was special to you.
She was. Maybe she felt the same. But things never felt together. Training, you know.
You know of any intentional exposures for certain?
No one knows. Doesn't mean they didn't happen. As big as the exposures were, it was hard to track down accidentals. It was different then. No one knew the potential, so there wasn't a lot of regulation. Anything kinetics did was gold. I'm not saying they intentionally detonated drives over our outposts, but in retrospect, they were damn quick on the scene.
Jump Zero's a long way from home. What was it like?
The grand gateway to humanity looks a lot better in the vids. Anyway, this was supposed to be a casual debrief, not a bull session about stuff that happened years ago.
I wanted to get to know you a little better. That's all. Thanks for the talk, Caden.
Well, you're welcome, ma'am. You, make a habit of getting this personal with everyone?
No, I don't. We'll talk again later.
I'll need some time to process that, Commander.
No,
But, yeah, I'd like that.
I didn't mean to do that. I took that as the other.
Anything you need, Commander?
Just trying to get a sense of where the crew's at. Thoughts?
I've wasted enough of your time for now, Commander. We'll have time for personal debriefings later.
We'll talk later, Caden.
I'd like that.
All right, well, I'm looking forward to telling him I don't think of him that way again. All right.
Hey, Commander. Looking for some extra supplies before you head out?
What have you got?
Whatever you want. Armor, weapons, mods. It's not standard Alliance issue, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. Well, as long as you don't mind paying for it.
Why should I pay you for my weapons and armor?
My stuff doesn't come from the Alliance. I have to purchase it myself, and it's not cheap. Hell, the licenses alone have set me back more than I'd like. But no licenses, no goods. Without the goods, I'm out of a job.
What are licenses? Why do you need them?
Manufacturers sell licenses. Each license allows me to buy and sell a certain brand of products. I already have several basic ones, but you'll need to buy more if you want me to bring in different brands. Many of the best licenses are hard to get, but they're well worth the cost if you can find them.
What do the different manufacturers offer?
There are too many for me to keep track of, but each license will explain what it's good for.
How often will you get new items?
Well, that depends on how many licenses you've purchased, but I'll rotate items on a regular basis regardless. And anytime we land someplace with a big enough port, I'll buy, sell, and trade whatever I can. Check back often. I need to move items quickly, so only the most basic items will be stocked consistently.
Let's take a
what
look.
you
I'm
got.
probably not going to
You
spend
bet,
it,
man.
but... Yeah, I think I'll just go without.
Commander, nice work out there. I knew working with the Spectre would be better than life at CSEC.
Have you worked with the Spectre before?
Well, no, but I know what they're like. Spectres make their own rules. You're free to handle things your way. At CSEC, you're buried by rules. The damn bureaucrats are always on your back.
For the most part, the rules are there for a reason.
Maybe. But sometimes it feels like the rules are only there to stop me from doing my work. If I'm trying to take down a suspect, it shouldn't matter how I do it, as long as I do it. But CSEC wants it done their way. Protocol and procedure come first. That's why I left.
So you just quit because you didn't like the way they do things?
There's more to it than that. It didn't start out bad, but as I rose in ranks, I got saddled with more and more red tape. CSEC's handling of Saren was typical. I just couldn't take it anymore. I hate leaving.
I hope you made the right choice. I'd hate for you to regret it later.
Well, that's sort of why I teamed up with you. It's a chance for me to get off the Citadel, see how things are done outside CSEC. Either way, I plan to make the most of this. And without CSEC headquarters looking over my shoulder, well, maybe I can get the job done my way for a change.
If getting the job done means endangering innocent people, then no. We get the job done right, not fast. Got it?
I wasn't trying to. I understand, Commander. Commander, how are you?
Why did you want to be a CSEC officer in the first place?
That's a good question. There were several reasons, I guess.
Well, you think about the best one.
Like what?
Probably the same as most officers. I wanted to fight injustice, wanted to help people. I guess my father had something to do with it too. He was CSEC, one of the best. I grew up hearing about his accomplishments or seeing his picture on the vids after a big arrest. He's taking my resignation pretty hard.
That's tough. But you'd think he'd be impressed you're going after Saren.
My father's a CSEC man to the bone. Do things right or don't do them at all, he says. He thinks I'm being too rash, too impatient. He's worried I'll become just like Saren. He actually talked me out of becoming a Spectre when I was younger, for the same reasons.
You were asked to be a Spectre.
Well, I was targeted as a possible Spectre candidate, me and about 1,000 other Turian military recruits. I could have received special training, but my father didn't like it. He despises the Spectres. He hates the idea of someone having unlimited power with no accountability. He wouldn't like you, Commander. No offense.
I suppose I can understand his concern.
You can. But Saren's not going to play by our rules, CSEC's rules. If you want to nail Saren, you need to send someone who isn't restricted by policies and procedures.
I'm not interested in Saren that way.
Just because you can break the rules doesn't mean you should. I don't need to stoop to Saren's level to stop him. And neither do you, Garrus.
I see what you mean, but I'll think about it. Thanks, Commander. Commander, good to see you.
I think we've already talked with Rex a bit, but...
So, we've got Saren on the run.
It won't be long now. Saren's good, but I'm better.
Good. He's rotten. To the core. I could tell as soon as I met him.
Why didn't you tell me this sooner?
I would have if I thought it was important.
I think I'd like to hear about it just the same.
This was a while ago. A bunch of mercs were bragging about a job out near the edges of the Terminus systems. They said it paid well and the boss was never around to ride them. They said he was looking for more men, too. So I checked it out.
I didn't know Saren was openly recruiting mercs.
It wasn't that open, and he only showed his face once. We'd been raiding ships in the area for months when we took out this massive cargo freighter. Our biggest haul yet. I was on board checking bodies for valuables, looking for some extra credits. That's when I saw him.
What did Saren want with the ship?
I don't know what he wanted. He was just moving through the ship, watching. A couple of the mercs called him by name, but he never spoke to them. Never spoke to anyone. I had a really bad feeling about him, so I got the hell out. Didn't even wait to get paid.
What kind of cargo was the freighter carrying? What was Saren after?
I don't know. All I saw on that ship was food and medical supplies. There were some basic weapons, but nothing big. If there was anything of value on that ship, I didn't see it. That's why I didn't mention it sooner.
Whose ship was it?
There was a Volus trading vessel. Big one. Lots of guards. But they were no match for us.
That's the only time you saw him?
Yeah. Didn't even know who he was. Still wouldn't if I hadn't joined up with you. But my instincts were right. Every other merc on that mission turned up dead within a week. Every damn one.
Are your people really dying?
We're
Yeah,
sure not
we've already done
too
this.
spread out. None of us are interested in staying in our own system.
So long, Rex.
Shepard.
Okay, we'll have a quick chat with Ashley. I'll do a little bit of armament. I'll mostly focus on Talia and Liara. I won't do like a big one like last time.
Commander?
What's your opinion of the last mission?
A little spooky how you handle that young guy. Didn't figure you'd know how to speak corporate.
All you need to do is show them how getting what you want gets them what they want.
You make it sound easy. Frankly, I just wanted to put a few rounds in him and leave.
What's your opinion of the last mission?
A little spooky. Didn't figure you'd know how to speak corporate.
All you need to do is
You
show
make
them.
it sound easy. Frankly, I just wanted to put a few rounds in him and leave.
Do you have a few minutes to talk? One-on-one?
Sure, I was hoping to get a minute of your time. Off the record.
I keep an open door policy. If you have any concerns, lay them on me.
All right. I know things are different aboard the Normandy, but I'm concerned about the aliens, Vicarian and Rex. With all due respect, Commander, should they have full access to the ship?
They may not serve the Alliance, Chief, but they're allies. At least as far as Saren goes.
This is the most advanced ship in the Alliance Navy. I don't think we should give them free rein to poke around the vital systems. Engines, sensors, weapons.
You don't trust the Alliance's allies?
I'm not sure I'd call the Council races allies. We, humanity, have to learn to rely on ourselves.
Standing up for ourselves doesn't mean standing alone.
I don't think we should turn down allies. I just think we shouldn't bet everything on them staying allies. As noble as the Council members seem now, if their backs are against the wall, they'll abandon us.
You got a pessimistic view of the universe, Williams.
A pessimist is what an optimist calls a realist. Look, if you're fighting a bear and the only way for you to survive is to sick your dog on it and run, you'll do it. As much as you love your dog, it isn't human. It's not racism, not really. Members of their species will always be more important to them than humans are.
So, some of my best friends are Arturians.
These seem like deeply held beliefs, Williams. What made you think this way?
My family's defended the Alliance since it was founded. My father, grandfather, great-grandmother, they all picked up a rifle and swore the oath of service. I guess we just tend to think of Earth's interests as our own.
Alright, I can see where your concerns are coming from, Williams. But this is a multilateral mission. You're gonna have to work with aliens, like it or not.
It won't be a problem, Commander. You say jump, I say how high. You tell me to kiss a Turian, I'll ask which cheek.
I don't think kissing Turians will be necessary.
You never know, Commander.
What's your code?
Didn't figure you'd know how to speak corporate. You make it sound easy. Frankly, I just wanted to put a few rounds in him and leave.
Do you have a few minutes
I'm
to
sorry,
talk?
Commander. I wouldn't mind talking more later, though.
Dismissed, Chief.
Ma'am.
I'll take a minute and do... Okay, so... Ashley's definitely my good, rifle woman, so... Which alien would you kiss the most? Or would you be most willing to kiss? I wish Ian remembered what his main weapon was. I think I'm just gonna skip out on that. Pretty sure Tali does shotguns. Liara's pistol. I also didn't check to see if I got all the best stuff. Alright, that'll do for now.
Something I can do for you, Commander.
Fill me in on the IES stealth system. How does it work exactly?
You can't hide a ship out in space.
Oh, we've
So our
done this
stuff-
before.
Eventually the sinks have to be vented.
Carry on, Adams.
Aye, aye, Commander.
Speaking of Tali,
Oh, hello, Shepard.
Are you okay?
I don't know. Your ship is amazing, and your crew's been really great to me, especially your chief engineer. But I just sort of feel out of place.
was this Williams?
The Normandy runs so smooth it feels like we're not even moving, and the engines are so quiet. How do you sleep at night?
The silence wakes you up?
Back on the flotilla, the last thing you want to hear is silence. It means an engine's died or an air filter shut down. I guess you don't have to worry about that here. But old habits die hard. But it's more than just the silence. This ship feels so empty. It's like half the crew is missing. Back home, I couldn't wait to go on my pilgrimage. I couldn't wait to get away from the crowds. Now that I'm out here, I kind of miss them.
Sometimes we don't appreciate what we have till it's gone.
That's true. I'm starting to wonder if that's what the pilgrimage is really about. It's given me a whole new perspective on my people and our culture. You know, there's always a few who go on their pilgrimages and never return. I always assumed something bad happened to them, but maybe they just wanted a different life.
You do plan to return to the migrant fleet, right?
I could never abandon my people, Shepard. I will go back eventually, but we have to stop Saren first. Otherwise, I might not have a home to go back to.
I should go.
See you later.
Alright, I think that's everyone. So let's find a quick mission to do. I'm kind of already over time, but I don't want to just end on a bunch of talking because I spent quite a bit of time on the lore, and I accidentally wound up beginning the romance option with Caden, which was not what I intended to do. I mean, it was fairly obvious from the dialogue option, like, when I reflect on it, just I sort of read it in my head a bit differently from how I think it was intended. So, I think this is just comms, right? Yeah. Oh my god, there's so much. You Googled it? So the Strenus or the Yangtze system? I believe there's a photo of her in Mass Effect 3. Okay, I'm pretty sure we've already checked these out, but we'll do a quick and we definitely went to Hercules, so... I think there's missions on both, so...
Message coming in. Patching it through.
Commander, I'm glad you were in the area.
Ah!
Emergency situation, and you're the only one I can trust to get the job done.
How can I help, Admiral?
Biotic fanatics have hit a medical research station with a psychotropic drug. The drugs have temporarily driven researchers crazy, and the biotics are effectively using them as human shields.
So if I shoot everything that moves, a lot of researchers are gonna die.
Exactly. A normal team could handle the biotics, but a lot of innocent researchers would die during the operation. That's why I contacted you. I'm hoping you can keep the casualties to a minimum.
I'll do everything within my power to bring those researchers back safely, Admiral.
I know you will, Commander. I'm sending you the station coordinates now. Fifth lead out.
How did the Alliance work until I showed up? I'm gonna skip the descriptions of the planets, just because we're a little pressed for time. But yeah, like, does the Alliance Navy really have nobody else who can do all this? The Majesty is a Kowloon-class modular conveyor of human design. The ship is a derelict. All compartments are exposed to space, and the fusion plant is leaking. The damage is consistent with ship-mounted mass accelerator fire. Registry, private owner, Captain Willem. A faint trail of radioactive particles, possibly exhaust from a sublight nuclear engine drive, leads towards the nearby planet of Jawin. Well, obviously, we just need to wait till I play Mass Effect 3 and we can find out for sure. Okay. Oh, lots of stuff. Yeah! So yeah, like, the Mako on planets actually fine. I guess the narrator called it Mako, but I found this reasonably fun. It's usually when I'm, like, in the middle of a firefight that I find it a little clumsy. But I don't know, being able to do more of this and build it out a little bit more in Andromeda, that would have been a decent game. Holy smokes. I didn't think those things lived on ice planets, but that definitely felt like a sandworm or whatever the... Alright, well, I'm gonna F off until they show up again. And I'm hoping I don't get eaten. Alright, now I'm slowing down because of that. Discovery. It appears that this person was trying to mark the nearby mineral deposit when he died or was killed. Oh, there it is. I don't care if that joke's stale. Oh, cool! I didn't know you had alternate views. Maybe I'll stop shooting the walls. So I'm assuming there's no, like, mission on here. I'm thinking this is just, like, getting some errands done, but I do find this a little diverting, so it's not a terrible way to spend the time. Discovery, there appears to be no one left at this camp. The generator is still functioning, but there are no signs of the former occupants. The camp's computer notes several locations of interest. Oops. Oh, Sean Bean, on Friday I'm thinking of doing XCOM. I might do Mass Effect again, but XCOM seems a little more likely, so I'll manage to get around to your character for that. I can't recall if we've played since you requested a character, but I know I haven't been able to do character creation since then, so... oh, damn it. I got a little too... Insignia recovered. The fragment appears to be from an old model freighter. Part of it is marked with the Chatti outpost signet. Okay, apparently somebody's mad.
Perimeter secured.
Well, no big deal if not. Usually that happens at the beginning, so there'll probably be a VOD and you can see how it turns out. And of course the point of making a character in the character pool is hopefully we'll encounter you one way or the other. I will warn you, you don't always wind up on the XCOM team. You can also be turned into a VIP or like an assassination target, but which would of course be particularly amusing given your name. But yeah, one way or the other we'll get it done, and I'll be sure. What I can do, like I can't necessarily promise you'll be there for it. I'm not going to deliberately, like, it's not like I'm going to put it at like minute 0 of the cast. But what I will do is I'll let you know when I've done it, and that way you'll be able to, you know, if you're interested in seeing your character being generated, I'll let you know roughly where you can get that done. I'm slightly worried that I've fallen down a bottomless pit, and do I still have that video up? No, I don't think I do. No, we can run up the sides of mountains like Skyrim. We're good. I am the premier a cappella heavy metal artist streaming in Eastern Canada at the moment. The bacon was a geth trap. Oops. Oh, you know what? I got a solution for this. Oh, and I lost my dashboard. Just a second, guys. It'll be worth it. not so good with that cannon at the moment. Alright, well, so much for getting that done on time, but I'm sure it'll still be relevant in as we drive. The Mako mission's gonna be over by the time it gets to the part I thought it was gonna get to. Obviously the combat's done, but we need to keep driving while this music's like this. Now we're good. So yeah, every time I do a mission in the Mako, I'm gonna have to make sure that I have the Fury Road soundtrack queued up. Because it makes my fumblings that much more impressive. Can I please use my... Okay. You can play generic heavy metal music. Yeah. I guess it depends on how confident I am that my my scouting's gonna work. Oh man, Tali, I can't keep you up. Snipers are melee weapons if you didn't notice. Jesus.
I'll kill you. You must die. I will destroy you. I'll kill you.
Oh, they ran off. It sucks.
Hold the line. I will destroy you.
Sure, I'll just stand by this explosive. Nothing. Nobody ever got hurt by a little explosive. Do I get Tali back yet? Alright. So I see lots of explosives. I don't see so much loot. And I'm not entirely sure why I'm supposed to be on this planet. I've been thinking about this for a while. One thing I am curious about in a role-playing system is... So there's one thing that you sort of face in a game. It doesn't have to be Mass Effect. It could be kind of anything. Seemingly no purpose for opening that. But like, let's say for whatever reason you really like the hacking game. And this could be true of Deus Ex. This could be true of Mass Effect. But there's obviously something that you as a player are bringing to the game. And if you are particularly good at a certain thing, then you don't need to put as many points into it. Now, the way that some games seem to handle this is like, you can think of the Assassin's Creed lockpicking approach, where, okay, I don't know if they want me to destroy it, but I have a powerful urge to destroy it. Oh, yep, okay. So the way most games seem to do this is, like, I know in the case of Assassin's Creed, they tend to make the lockpicking missions, if you don't have the right level, very difficult. And I'm wondering if there's more of a carrot way that you can approach this, which is, like, right now, because of the way... So, like, I guess the way that you think of... I'm gonna help out Captain William in a minute. Like, if you think of the way that you play a tabletop role-playing game, if you put points into it, if you put your points into something, your character is good at it. Now, for knowledge tests, there's obviously knowledge that you have. So, for instance, if you're a biology major, you might be playing a fighter in Dungeons and Dragons, but it just so happens that you, the player, have knowledge of certain plants, and that might come up over the course of the game. But by and large, because a tabletop game is highly abstracted, the fact that you've put points into a particular skill will mean that your character is better at it. Generally, you roll dice or do some kind of a random draw, and either the distribution that you draw from is more favorable, or you get more sort of cracks at it, or there's a few different ways that these games kind of handle this idea. Now, games are different. Games have inherited a lot from tabletop systems, but one thing that I think would be a really interesting approach for a game to take is to stop pretending that they are electronic implementations of tabletop role-playing games. That maybe what you can do is say, let's say you're really good at the hacking minigame in a game. Well, that's fine, because you are the player, and you can decide, how much you want to play that particular thing. And what it does, instead of the game sort of penalizing you for not putting points into that thing that you're good at, what they can maybe try instead is say, it's like, because you are good at the hacking game, you have points that you can spend on some other things that maybe you're not so good at. Likewise, to have a game, maybe don't add this artificial jitter to your character's aim. Have a standard shoot, and if you're a particularly good shot, maybe you play a lot of first-person shooters or something like that. That just means that you're a little bit better at the combat. But if you put points into your weapons or something like that, maybe you get like a longer zoom or something like that. It'd be sort of more interesting. I don't know if there's any games that are currently doing this, but it would be interesting if games stopped penalizing you for not putting points into things and instead took the idea that if you're good at something in the game, you don't need to put points into it, and you can put the points into something that you're not good at. It's a thought. I'm sure I can't be the only person to have thought of that, so there might be other reasons why that's not feasible for games, but these are the things that I think about at night when the power goes out. Anomaly detected. You have discovered the corpse of Captain Willem of the MSV Majesty. His stiff fingers are wrapped tightly around a small data pad. And I guess that's that. Talk to Garroth. You've discovered what happened to William Garroth's brother. Return. Ah, I see. How sad. I guess I need to do another Citadel. I need to do another Citadel run at some point, but how am I for time? It's almost midnight. I'm going to try and get to the next mission. I'll at least try and get to the next system, but I don't think I'm going to be able to contain it. And I know part of that's because I did a lot of the lore reading. I apologize for that. Unless you like hearing the lore reading, in which case we still have some more. But I'm already kind of over time, so but let's see what we can do with our remaining time. Again, skipping the planet descriptions. I normally like to do those, but not at the expense of you guys not being able to see more of the game, so so there's nothing waiting for us here except what's on the planet. So let's see how long this takes us. Noveria is a small frozen terrestrial world, barely habitable by conventional definitions. It is privately chartered by the Noveria Development Corporation, who lease out labs to perform research too dangerous or controversial to be performed elsewhere. Hang on, we've been here already. Oh yeah, this is... I don't think this is right. Yeah, this is for old, unhappy, far-off things. Sorry, I think I lost my mind on how this was working, so... Yep, we definitely did what was asked of us there, so... Let's find the next one. I don't want to do hostile takeovers because I don't like the way... Well, we'll see. I'll maybe do this one, but the Yangtze system in the Voyager cluster. Was that one that... I feel like that was one that we were given, given by the Admiralty. I completely forgot what system that was. Sorry, as you can see, I'm starting to lose it. Voyager cluster, Yangtze system. We'll start with Yangtze and then we'll go to Amazon afterwards. Because I think we have something in the Amazon system for us anyway. Binthu has an atmosphere of carbon dioxide with a permanent haze of toxic chlorine and clouds of sulfur dioxide that periodically drops torrents of acidic rain on the surface. Its crust is mainly composed of sulfur with deposits of calcium. Like most worlds in the Voyager cluster, Binthu has only been charted within the last 20 years by Alliance surveyors. It has no known native ecology. Data about the world is surprisingly brief and generic, painting a picture of an unpleasant and uninteresting place. Naturally, we'll land. Alright, so as usual, I'll go for debris and basically stuff I can collect first. And if the combat mission is short, I'll be happy, and if it's long, I might have to break it up into more than one part. But I'll try and give you your money's worth, because I kind of feel like I didn't talk as much about the game as I should have today. And by the way, we are 14 followers away from the 2,000, so that was unexpectedly pleasant, and doing very well on subs, so thank you very much for that, guys. I know we had some renewals. It is never required, but it is always tremendously appreciated, so... Well, that gap's gonna be tricky. At some point I should clean my inventory too, but ideally that's something that I do on my own time. I don't really need to be on cast while I sort of plot out my equipment. One other thing I should consider doing is actually bringing people like Caden, Ashley, Garrus, and Rex on some of these missions, just so I can find out what their specialties are, and then then I can sort of decide what the best weapon to give them is and stuff like that. But I'm not sure if there's anything for me to do at this base other than just shoot the turrets, but... Well, there we go. Another one of these examples of where I'm just kind of like walking into someone's home and shooting them, but... apparently shooting a lot of them.
Hold the line!
Ah, this is Cerberus, so I don't need to worry about being nice. Probably could have used my sniper rifle there, but... Oof. Yeah, maybe I won't stand out in the open with the sniper next time. Eliminated the threat at the facility. Continue to one of the nearby, other nearby labs.
Looks like Cerberus has other bases on this world, Shepard.
I'm pretty sure the Cerberus mission was one given to us by the Admiralties, or at least we're doing their dirty work for them, but... Oh, Eyes of Sin, are you still here by any chance? Because I noticed there was a game that LG was playing that I think we had been talking about his channel, and you were talking, I think it went on sale, so I was going to get your opinion on it, but... Okay, that one's done. I think what I'm just going to do is go from the top, sort of the closest, and move out like this. This seems to be the most straightforward way that I can keep track of which ones I've done correctly. Apparently there's also loot. The one thing I'm a little worried about is I think if I do another boneheaded move like with that sniper again, my current health will not let me survive that, but the easy answer is don't stand like a slack-jawed idiot when there's a sniper looking at me. As much as I would love to do the royalty-free medal, I'm trying to make some decent time on this, so... It's a very nice looking background. Ole.
Moving out.
All right. Again, at this point, I'm just kind of figuring Spectre points because it's not too, like, it gives me combat bonuses and then it sort of frees me up for other decisions later on. Speaking of. Jesus, die already. Right. What am I dealing with here? Just gonna wait this out.
Go, go, go!
Oh bueno. No sign of Kohao among the creeper corpses. He must be at one of the other labs in the
I
area.
wonder what Cerberus horrors we'll find at the next base. Think we're good, Commander?
Good, we're the best. Okay, carrying on with our promised path. A little bit lower. Oops. That would have been good for the Mad Max music. But yeah, so obviously, having played Mass Effect 2, Cerberus becomes a really interesting organization. So it's, I kind of, like, I can sort of see them as a, you know, as an antagonist, but I think one of the things, again, I think probably one thing that's becoming more and more reinforced as I play this game, like, when you are allowed to sort of string out a mission around someone or something, it makes for something really satisfying. So like that mission where you decide whether or not to let the Rachni Queen live or die, I thought had some interesting decisions, and you realize Benezia was a little more complicated than she seemed at the beginning. I mean, before she was just an evil cleavage kind of hanging around Saren's head. So those, to me, like make Mass Effect this thing that is interesting to play to me. Missions like this, did I already go here? I must have. I thought it was weirdly familiar. But you know, in this, like, knowing what Cerberus is in Mass Effect 2, it's sort of like, well, you know, they're obviously keeping some of the stuff that we fought before, and I guess that's bad, but, you know, you don't have these you don't have a shadowy figure like the elusive man behind it, and, you know, this idea, somewhat complicated idea of advocating for human interests but not being sort of this one-note, like, toothless hillbilly, you know, supremacist group. I don't know. I guess the nice thing is now that I'm a little bit better at the combat, it feels like some of these more, you know, fighting-oriented side missions are more of a diversion, which is kind of nice. And probably they were always like that. I just sort of struggled. But I don't know. I'm the thing that keeps me doing these is that I'm scared I'm going to run into a really interesting story one. And what I'm always finding is that I could probably have passed any of these ones that I've done. 136. I really should be clearing stuff out, but I think... Oh, no. Okay, let's gel anything that's level 3. That doesn't give me a whole lot. We'll gel level 4s too. I think I'll go for like 2... I'll go for like 2 levels. So like we've got a bunch of Tsunami 6s, so you know 5 seems reasonable. Do we have... Yeah, we've got more than one Hurricane, so... do I have Stingers? I've got a Stinger 6, so... So that'll hopefully give me a little more breathing room when the loot comes. And that's interesting that you liked Cerberus. I tended to be very... I didn't always side with them when I could. There were some times when I was sympathetic to them, but I feel like I did not give the elusive man his, you know, his return that he was looking for. Oh, please don't kill me. Because I kind of want to make sure I've cleared out this nonsense before.
I'm on it.
You check for a pulse but find none. Admiral Kahoku is dead. Despite the ferocity of the creature he was sealed in with, there were no signs of trauma on his corpse. The needle marks on his arm suggested different means of execution.
Oh, goddess. It's Admiral Kahoku. Cerberus must have tracked him down.
The music tells me that something terrible's just happened. Yeah, I don't know. I always kind of wound up perceiving Cerberus as a somewhat unsavory group, so I was willing. I kind of took the old like Jim Mattis line on Cerberus, which was when he refers to the United States. It's like, you know, I believe a country that could side with the Soviet, you know, Stalin's Soviet Union in order to stop Germany can, like, basically referring to the ability to work with people who, you know, you would normally sort of have problems with against a greater foe. I always kind of looked at it that way. Prothean data disk recovered. There are a few children's toys and some ragged clothes stuffed inside the top of this monument, along with the Prothean data disk. So I feel like I went to all of these. 1, 2, 3. You walked so much. Oh yeah, I was gonna say there was a question that I had for you, but yeah. Anyway, like I never. I'm just gonna head back to this research facility because they said one. Well, actually, I guess the other thing I can do is. So the counts is complete. Cerberus had been conducting illegal genetic research in an effort to create an unstoppable army. You have found Kohaku dead in one of their bases, and now you are the only one who can stop them. Destroy the main Cerberus facility. You found the location of major Cerberus facility. Head to Nepheron in the Columbia system in the Voyager. Okay, I don't think we're on there. No, we're not. But I think this is a good place to call it for tonight. I'm probably about 2 hours over now, so thank you everyone for watching. I'm sorry if the dialogue is not your thing, because I know there was quite a few codices and character background, but I had sort of shirked on those in some previous streams. I'm not 100% sure when I'll do this again, so immediate plans for the stream. Obviously I will cast on Friday like I normally do. I am undecided if I would like to do XCOM 2 or Mass Effect, or something entirely new, but I feel like jumping between XCOM 2 and Mass Effect is not a bad way of doing things. Obviously if you have any preferences in line, I'm open to them, but I always get final say on what we're doing. It is a long weekend this week, so traditionally... Oh, thank you, Sean Bean. Traditionally, I have... Well, for the last few months anyway. On Monday I normally cast a Paradox Grand Strategy game, but I have noticed that I burn out a little bit when I have a holiday, and so it's less the fact that this happens on stream, but basically what happens is if I have a holiday and I wind up, it falls on a streaming day, which it often does because it's Monday. The drop, or well, Monday or Friday, both those are usually the holidays, and obviously those are usually days that I stream. And so what I tend to find is that while I haven't done like my full day of work, I tend to notice that the effect is the same on like my overall kind of like work morale and stuff like that. It feels like I haven't had like a break in a few months. So what happens is on Canadian holidays, on streaming days, the streams are optional. So don't expect me to stream on Monday. If I do stream on Monday, it will be Stellaris, but it's likely that will be the week after next. But with that in mind, I will definitely be back for Friday. I will either do most likely Mass Effect or XCOM 2, but you never know. I might be in the mood for something else. And then if I don't do Mass Effect on Friday, I will probably do it next week on Wednesday or Friday, most likely Wednesday. So let's find somebody to host. Who's online? Oh, you know what? Speaking of XCOM, I really like hosting Kilgore Trout. He's currently playing Shadowcaster, but Outworld is currently playing XCOM Enemy Within, and I don't get a chance to host Outworld very often. He's a wonderful partnered Australian streamer. He usually does speed runs. I think he has a few world records for Mortal Kombat, but I really enjoy watching him play XCOM. He's a really great guy. He's been very supportive of this stream, so I'd love it if you guys could come along. Do feel free to drop the raid message. We're tired of system talk. Heard this place was better, but I think Outworld will be a wonderful little diversion. As obviously, if XCOM isn't your thing, I have no idea why you're watching this channel. But if it's not your thing, Kilgore Trout is doing Shadowcaster, which is also a really interesting game. But Outworld is getting my host tonight, so I hope you guys enjoy it, and I'll see you in there for a little while.